Morning everyone. Today we are going to discuss about sensors in robots. So it is coming under the unit 3 in the subject 15 ME 326E robotics and engineering applications. So first, before starting this unit, at the end of this session, the learners should be able to say what is the need for the robots that should have a sensor, or what are the things it's sensing, what are the sensors available, how much cost did they, how easy they to use. Uh, so basically, you just think about a human being. Imagine a human being without any sensor. So it's very difficult for them to live or communicate with some other person, with the object in the environment, isn't it? Same way, you take any living being, starting with the small insects. At least they have one kind of sensor. So as a human being, we all have five sense organs to sense or to interact with the environment. So same way, a robot without sensing or without sensor, it become a dumb. It cannot work or it cannot uh, uh, sense its environment or to know it is not aware with the environment. So robots definitely need a sensors like a vision and like it should sense the light and it should sense whether the object is come closer or not, and it should not harm others like that. So the sensors are very important to make a robot more intelligent. So always a sense, any sensor, it gives some value to the object. To take any system, automated system, definitely sensors are there. So when you are adding more number of sensor, your object it get more intelligent. It reacts or interact with the persons who is there in the surrounding. So like the same way, the robots are becoming more intelligent if you are integrating more kind of sensors. So as I said earlier, the robot not have awareness of its own surroundings, what is there uh, standing around the robot, what should it do, how can it execute the work, how it protect itself. So definitely a sensor is necessary for robots. For example, you see that a washing machine, it is having a sensor to sense the dirt in the cloth, then it becomes more intelligent. So nowadays the devices are more intelligent with the adding a more sensor. You take a mobile phone. Nowadays it integrated with the higher high-end camera. Okay, so it senses whether it is a day night or light effect, and whether a depth effect. All it recognizes the face, it recognizes a gesture. Like that, it becomes more intelligent. In same way, now if you are having a robot like a lawn mower or for cleaning the floor, so it should sense the dirt level and where to turn on, where is the end, and it should not hit with the other person. Like that, it interacts with the environment and it protects itself, and then it survives. So it makes sensor makes the robots more interesting. So basically, the robotic sensors can be classified into major types. One is the internal sensor available, other one is the external sensor. What is the purpose of the internal sensor? The internal sensor are mainly used for sensing its own ability. For example, what is the position of the end effector at any point of time? What is the position of every joint and how far it should move? What is the velocity, its own velocity, how far it is moving its arm? How what is the acceleration to be done, acceleration work to be done, like that. The robot should know about itself. That's why it is having a internal sensor like position, velocity and acceleration, and it should know about its own environment, like what kind of force it should apply exert on other object, what are the things to see around it, like a vision sensor, how much torque it should apply to get the desired assembly, and to sense whether object is coming closer to it. To have a safety reason, it should have a range and proximity sensor to integrate it with that. So what else can be sensed? So you take a photo sensor, a small LED, the presence of the light, whether object is present or not. That is also a basic simple sensing. And sound and heat, chemical, and proximity. So these are the things that can be sensed easily. So in what form it is going to sense? So those objects sensing can be converted into through magnetic or electric field, and whether the magnetic field is existing or not. If it is a conductive object, whether the eddy current is available or not, or the resistance is there or not, capacitance or inductance. Through that, the sensor can sense its environment. Same way, even you can have a mechanical device like whiskers, bumpers, micro switches to check whether the object is present or not, or photoelectric sensing. That means using a active and passive. That means what? That is the sensor. It should have its own source of illumination, a LED thing, and it should have a detector also. That is called active. Passive means it just senses only the through the sunlight. Okay, it doesn't have its own source of illumination. Or sometimes you can sense using an infrared light, like how you are sensing with the television remote, how it is working using infrared light. And same way ultrasonic sound waves that also can be used for sensing, and resistive, capacitive, touch sensor in a mobile phone, touch screen, everything is coming under the sensors. And visual camera is very important. Visual sensing is very important. It looks the object. Once it deep learn, it recognize the environment and it act accordingly. And color sensor also is available there. For example, if there is a line tracking robot, the robot should follow a line drawn in a particular color. That time it should be able to sense a line, like fluorescent strip is there, it should follow it. And magnetic, and it can sense the voltage, current, chemical, etc. And sensors not only should be there in the robot, also should be integrated with the work cell. And the proximity sensor, it comes as a primemost sensor available. The proximity means like how we have to maintain a social distancing in the current trend. The same way, robot should maintain a particular distance with all other objects, or either it may be a guided vehicle, or it may be a human being, or it may be some other object. So that proximity can be obtained through optical or a photometric way, or through a radiation, or using infrared. So many ways can be the proximity sensing can be implemented. Even eddy current detectors are there that is used for detecting any conductive object, and electrical contact switches are available, and LVDT, piezoelectric accelerometer to measure the vibrations. So all these things are there. So the sensors can be classified into two major types. One is a tactile sensor and the other one is a non-contact sensor. Tactile sensor is mainly a contact-based sensor. For example, if there is a limit switches to check whether the object is present or not, by the time you can choose a contact-based sensors. For example, if you want to measure the force, by the time we have to go for a contact-based sensor. If the robot grasps an object, how we should grasp the object, how we should execute the force on it or implement a force on it, those things can be implemented with the contact based sensors. Whereas you see the non-contact sensors, that is, if the object comes closer to the, if suppose the object or vehicle comes within the limit of the work cell or work range of the work cell, so then it should detect it using the range sensor and the proximity sensor, as well as vision sensors are there to see the scene, changing scene. So once that robot is start with the different um images with the object, it learns by itself using a deep learning method, and then it acts according to it. So coming to the force sensor, what is the importance of force sensor? Because the force sensors are very very important whenever it is compared to the other sensor, because the robot manipulator, whenever it carries a weight, it should not be more than the specified one. So what happens if it carries a heavy weight? Then the manipulator arm may get deflected, or it may get broken up. So, and sometimes if suppose the uh, robot manipulators are used in assembly, by the time the robot should not execute the more force on it or apply a heavy force while assembling it. So we have to sense the force, how much the robot is executing on the object or grasping, or if suppose the robot is employed in a machining or in some other activity like welding, and the force, it plays a very major role. So these forces can be sensed in a three way. One is using force sensing wrist, and other one using a joint sensing method, and other one is having a sense array of force sensing element like a matrix. One can sense the force distribution along the end effector. So first let us see about force sensing wrist. So from the name itself, it is very clear. It is a kind of a special load cell that is attached between the gripper or end effector and the wrist. So it is fixed between the end effector and then the wrist. So what is there in that? So it is nothing but it is a bracket that is fixed with the frame. So whenever that end effector carries a heavy object, because of the weight, it is going to deflect, or it is the bracket is going to have a moment about certain point on a frame. So the strain gauge is present on both the side of that frame. It senses that and it gives the information. So this is the diagram is exaggerated for a one dimension axis, and in some time when the robot manipulator or end effector are used for assembling a peg into a hole, by the time it should not force the plug or peg into the hole in an inclined way. Or if suppose the robots are used for tightening it, it should not apply some excessive force on it. Okay, so for example, in some situation, we may be asking that robot to assemble in a proper way with a proper force. So first you have to have not have a closed loop system. We first measure what is the existing force in a three axis. For example, in a three-dimensional one, we can resolve the force into three components: force along x-axis, force along y, fy, and fz. At the same way, we can find what about the moment about x, moment about y, and moment about z-axis. So the force can be resolved into all six components. So in some assembly operation, we need a moment about x-axis or force about x-axis. So depending upon the requirement, we have to find what is that actually available, and the controller should calculate the offset force required and then apply the required moment to it, so that your desired force is executed. For example, in the force accommodation, the tool is moving along some contour with the desired force, but actually it is executing on the different direction. So that is sensed immediately using the force sensor, and the difference offset is calculated, and the moment to do that is applied on that particular motor to get that desired output. So this is called force accommodation. For example, you take a cantilever, and here you are pasting a strain gauge on it. So the strain gauges are used for measuring the forces by measuring the strain acting along on the particular direction. So here we are having a two kind of strain gauges. One is for measuring the tensile strain, other one is for compressive strain. So in a simple cantilever, if you are pasting a two strain gauges, it is used for measuring the strain along Z as well as on the X axis. It cannot measure the strain along the Y axis. So a simple cantilever is not sufficient for measuring the forces in all three directions. We need some more cantilever element also. So for example, if you are having a two resistor or it's a strain gauges, the change in the resistance can be measured with the Wheatstone bridge like this. As I said earlier, one cantilever with the two strain gauges is used to measure the strain along only two directions. So like that, if you want to measure the force along three direction, Fx, Fy, Fz, as well as the moment, so you need a setup like this. So a cantilever, this four-stalk sensor should have a cantilever, four cantilever fitted with that in a ring, so that it measure the forces on 8 direction. And because of the resultant force, this moment, it takes place about x, y, z, and because of that it may have a moment about x, y, z. So the force balance equation is given here. For example, we are having a x, y, and z axis, and you can see the deflection W3 and W8 is acting along x axis, and hence this, you can see the first equation Fx is equal to the the higher value is given for the corresponding deflection on W3 as well as W8. And same way for Fy, you see W5 and W2 is given along the direction. So the sensor output from W5 and W2 is taken as 1 over here. So Fz, same way. Here it is, Z direction is happening in 4 sensing element, W6, W1, W4 and W7. So you can see all 4 values are given high value. Same way for about moment about x-axis, the higher value is given for W4 as well as W7. Same way, this is a force balance equation which gives the deflection about a direction, and we can sense the force in all 3 directions. And force accommodation is also can be done easily by fixing the value. For example, for the assembly, you require only the moment about x. So you can make the other force given 0 and make the robot to work in such a way that the mx of desired moment takes place. So this is the example for the four-stalk sensor, which is fixed between the end effector and the wrist of the robot that senses the direction. So you see the video related to it in the next slide. So here the four-stalk sensor is here, and then a joystick is attached. He is applying a force along the perpendicular direction, and it is reflecting over here. Even small force is sensed over here, and he is applying a torque in all 3 directions. And the robot is just picking up the object and is going to fix it on the 3-jaw fixture. Here in this, it automatically adjusts based upon the force fixed on it. It is not hurting the object or damaging the object. and it grasps a small fragile object and keep it on the desired place. So when the human touches, it is not hurting that fellow also. So this is what it is, a force sensing. So let us see about this tactile array sensing in the next class. Thank you.